Maths is awesome, maths is fun, maths is there for everyone.
Greetings and welcome to another exciting maths lesson. So today we're going to be looking at vertically opposite angles and angles at a point. So let's get our definitions sorted out. Vertically opposite angles, the definition: when two lines meet at a point, vertically opposite angles are equal. So I have two lines, they meet at a point. I'm going to mark in pink. Those two angles are vertically opposite, they're equal to each other. Actually, I'll mark in green. Those two angles are also vertically opposite and they are equal to each other. Angles at a point. Angles at a point add to 360 degrees. They're a full revolution. So if I actually have a line with a point there, that's 360 degrees. Or I could actually do this. I'll do another one. There's a point, there's a whole lot of angles coming off. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 angles coming off that. All 4 angles add up to 360 degrees. Let's try some examples. Example 1, determine the value of the pronumerals. Remember, pronumerals just means the letters, and here's the part that we've got to be careful of: giving reasons. Now, if I look at part A, I can see that angle A and angle 37 degrees are vertically opposite. So I can say A equals 37 degrees because they're vertically opposite. If I look at part B, A and 115 are vertically opposite. So A equals 115 degrees because they are vertically opposite. Remember, I must have those brackets. Let's go to part C. When I'm at part C, there's no vertically opposite angles here, but I can see I've got 50 degrees and 310 degrees. There's not even a pronumeral with that one, which is a bit stupid. 350 and 50 do add up to 360, so they represent a full rotation, and that's not actually a question, so don't worry about that question there, because it doesn't have a pronumeral in it. Part D doesn't have a pronumeral in it either, but part C is correct because the angles add up to 360. If I look at part D, it's not correct because 80 plus 250 equals 330, which is not a full revolution. It's really poorly worded, that question, because it says to find the pronumeral. There are no pronumerals, but that is a nonsense question. Doesn't make sense. Let's go to part E. Where there's a right angle symbol, I know they're 90 degrees. So for this question, I've got an A, I've got a 90, I've got another 90, and I've got a 32. They all have to add up to 360 because angles at a point, I'm going to abbreviate point, equals 360 degrees. Now, 90 plus 32 adds up to give 212. And then we're going to minus 212 to both sides. Whoops, I need to write that correctly. Let's restart. Minus 212. And now I get A equals 360 minus 212 equals 148 degrees. So that's what A is. Part F. When I look at part F, I've got myself some vertically opposite angles if I combine those two A's together. So I could say that the two A's, if I add them together, A plus A, equals 70 degrees because they are vertically opposite. So you get 2A equals 70. Let's divide both sides by 2, and that leaves me with A equals 35 degrees. Example 2. Determine the value of the pronumerals, giving your reasons. Well, the first one that's the easiest is looking at the 146 degrees and the B degrees. They're vertically opposite. So B equals 146 degrees because they are vertically opposite. Finished. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at actually, let's not look at it that way. It'll work, but I'm going to look at it this way. If I look at that line there, so let me highlight the line. This is the line I'm looking at. If I look at that line there, I can see that that's a straight line, and straight lines add up to 180 degrees, a straight angle. So I could say that the angle A and the angle 146 adds up to 180 degrees. Angle on a line equals 180 degrees. Let's minus 146 to both sides. And when I do that, I get A equals 34 degrees. And there's my answer. Part B. Now, I can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 angles in this question, so let's add them up. I've got an A, I've got another A, I've got a 3A, I've got another 3A, and I've got a 4A. And they all add up to 360 because angles at a point equal 360 degrees. And I can see the point is there that all the angles meet at. So remember when I see an A, that's a 1A and a 1A. 1A plus 1A is 2A. So I'm going 1A plus another 1A is 2A, plus 3 is 5, plus another 3 is 8, plus another 3 is 4. Remember, if I said apple, 1 apple plus 1 apple plus 3 apples plus 3 apples plus 4 apples equals 12 apples, or 12A. Going to divide both sides by 12, which means A equals 360 divided by 12 is 30, so A is 30 degrees. With part C, I've got two angles, A takes 60, and I'm going to plus to that A plus 60, and they add up to 360 because angles at a point equal 360 degrees. There's my reason. There's the point that they meet at. There's one angle on one side and another angle on the other side, and they add up to 360 degrees. Now, here's the trick. With this question, you've got a minus 60 and a plus 60. A minus 60 and a plus 60 add to give nothing. So they knock each other out, which means I've really got A plus A, which is 2A. Divide both sides by 2. A equals 180 degrees. Part D, our last question. You'll notice I've got a straight line and I'm only dealing with one side of the straight line. So I know that my two angles, A take 90. If I add that to A plus 50, they have to add to 180 because angles on a line equal 180 degrees. Now I've got an A plus an A, which is 2A. This is where it gets a bit tricky. I've got a minus 90 and a plus 50. If you do minus 90 plus 50 on your calculator, you'll get minus 40. And that has to equal 180. Well, the next step, this is actually a slightly harder equation. The first thing we're going to do is plus 40 to both sides. If we plus 40 to both sides, I'm left with 2a equals 180 plus 40 is 220. 2 times a equals 220. The opposite of timesing by 2 is dividing by 2. That's how we undo that. So the 2's cancel and I'm left with a equals 110 degrees if you put that into your calculator. So it's time to go to your workbook and work through pages 23 to 26. If you want extra questions, you can go to the textbook and do questions 2, 4, 9 and 14, but I'm more concerned about you doing the pages on the workbook. Well, have fun and enjoy. Bye for now.